in defense and diplomacy as President Buhari meets President Abiy Ahmed. Military adopts stringent counterinsurgency measures in northeast Nigeria.
Once built, the Abuja power plant will be yet another example of how the United States and Nigeria are working to develop durable solutions that meet the needs of the people of Nigeria, create jobs, and foster increased bilateral trade and investment.
National Grid to get additional 1,350 megawatts of electricity. Plus, a reflection on the status of healthcare delivery at the grassroots. Good evening. Thank you for joining us on the Network News tonight. I am Kenan Ima Abodike. Reading with me tonight are Jennifer Igwe in Lagos and Kemi Oshin in Ibadan. The partnership between Nigeria and Ethiopia is gaining momentum and vigor as the two countries sign bilateral agreements on defense and diplomacy. This forms the highlights of the high-level talks between President Muhammadu Buhari and Prime Minister of Ethiopia Abiy Ahmed in Addis Ababa. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the details.
It was a highly befitting welcome for President Muhammadu Buhari as he arrived the Grand Palace, Ethiopian seat of state for over a century, on a state visit, the first since coming to power. Nigeria and Ethiopia have long-standing and robust bilateral relations spanning decades, but the leadership of the two most populous countries in Africa believe that opportunities abound for expansion towards enhancing mutual progress and prosperity. And this informed the high-level engagement between President Muhammadu Buhari and Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed.
They have a vision of a more self-reliant Africa, where we will increase trade amongst ourselves, and interestingly enough, he believes that we should be investing in each other's not only countries but institutions. So, the Ethiopian president is saying, Nigeria can invest in Ethiopian Airlines and own parts of Ethiopian Airlines. He would also like to see, of course, Ethiopian Airlines having access to other Nigerian destinations. He wants to encourage Nigerian investors to come into Ethiopia, and of course he has, he spoke very highly of Dangote Cement Industries and others. He wants to see more, and he wants it to be a deep partnership, between the two countries. I think it was very, very clear that Nigeria and Nigerians can gain a lot in investing in Ethiopia. Ethiopia is one of the fastest growing economies in the world at the moment, over a double digit, over 10% a year. And so there's real scope, for Nigerian cooperation.
Prime Minister Ahmed emphasized a great respect and affection for President Muhammadu Buhari, saying he is keen to learn from Nigeria ways and means of addressing similar security, economic and governance challenges that they have.
Mr. President, spoke to him, about what his experience is, what we're experiencing as a country, and encouraged him to keep on the path that he has set for himself and his country, and assured him of Nigeria's full support and full commitment also to greater economic integration amongst our people. They have huge challenges with corruption and also the capital flight, a lot of the resources trapped in foreign countries. And so they're also keen to learn from Nigeria how we have gone about repatriating a lot of the funds that have been stolen, because they have the same challenges too. And of course, Mr. President said that we're willing to, to share experiences.
He wants to emulate from Nigeria how the president has gone about in his war on anti-corruption. Whereas the people of Ethiopia have embraced the fight, and it's not a popular policy, Nigerians are still fighting the fight. And once corruption is not removed, there will be no development. The economy will not grow. The citizenry will also not grow. So there is need now for us to change our national attitude to governance, our national attitude as citizens, and then embrace the good policies of the president, and then join this war against corruption.
As a fallout from the talks, 2 landmark agreements on defense cooperation as well as visa waiver for diplomatic and official passport holders were signed between the 2 countries.
On defense cooperation, the 2 countries need to counter terrorism and promote closer collaboration in security areas. So the signing of that agreement is a step forward for our 2 countries to move forward. The second one has to do with exemption of visas to ensure that we create people-to-people contacts and then move forward our interest in the official political cooperation.
Apart from being Africa's leading countries, demographically, Nigeria and Ethiopia are both multi-ethnic and multi-religious countries, amongst other commonalities. From Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari has appealed to Nigerians to support and cooperate with security agencies as they remain steadfast in defending and preserving national unity, stability and territorial integrity of the country. The president was speaking at a meeting with the executive committee members of the Nigerian community in Addis Ababa as part of his state visit to Ethiopia. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo again has the details.
At the instance of President Muhammadu Buhari, participants at the interactive engagement coordinated by the chairman, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabri Erewa, observed a moment of silence in honor of Nigerians brutally killed by Boko Haram terrorists last Monday in Borno State. Describing the incident as unfortunate and intolerable, President Buhari said the federal government will not relent until terrorism, insurgency and other acts of criminality are brought to an end.
Protecting Nigeria, fighting corruption, and bringing prosperity to our people remain key priorities of our administration.
On economic matters and doing business in Ethiopia, the president noted the challenges being faced by some Nigerian investors in the country and directed relevant ministries to take up the matter with a view to resolving all complaints amicably with the Ethiopian authorities. Commenting on diaspora voting, President Buhari told the people that he is not against it, but legislation is required to make it a reality. He, however, expressed concern that some Nigerians in the diaspora have not been projecting the country in good light, urging them to change their ways and obey the laws of their countries of residence.
You are our ambassadors in the face of our country abroad. The world is therefore watching you and would make judgments on Nigeria based on your comportment and actions. Second, in whatever legitimate engagements you find yourself, you must strive to excel and be the best. Third, while you are out in the diaspora, do not forget home, as you represent some of the best human assets that Nigeria possesses.
The federal government, he said, is committed to supporting and protecting all law-abiding Nigerians, both at home and abroad, to prosper. Nigeria's ambassador to Ethiopia, Bankole Adeoye, commended President Buhari for reciprocating the visit to Abuja of the former Prime Minister of Ethiopia, given the country's zeal to develop stronger ties with Nigeria.
This is one of the most professional group of Nigerians anywhere in the world. They are distinguished Nigerians, they are prominent Nigerians, and they have continued to show us in very good light.
Nigerians in this country, we can assure you, are making positive contributions to the country. We are proud that the Nigerians we have here are not the Nigerians that give you trouble.
The Nigerian community in Ethiopia has the highest concentration of professionals working in international organizations such as the African Union and the United Nations agencies, which President Buhari described as correct representation of the Nigerian spirit of excellence. From Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, has described President Buhari's address to African leaders at the just concluded AU summit as one that not only touches the crux of the major concerns on the continent, but also prefers the most practical remedy measures for sustainable peace and security. The minister, who spoke to State House correspondent Adamu Sambo, expressed optimism that with concerted and well-coordinated efforts by the leaders, guns can indeed be silenced for a prosperous future.
Mr. President's address actually zeroed in on the need for cooperation, both regional and continental and global. And the effort Nigeria has been making to contain this, menace. But what is important and what I'm happy about is that when I listened to all the other houses, I saw the challenges in Sudan, the challenges in Libya, the challenges in South Sudan, the challenges everywhere. I begin to appreciate, Mr. President, much better. The problems of Africa are almost the same, and without the collaborative effort of all the leaders, Africa would not be able to overcome the challenges. I think it was an eye-opener for me in particular, because from the reports, from the sessions, it was clear that what we are facing in Nigeria is not a local, matter or something that is unique to Nigeria, but that is a global issue. That as long as there are pockets of terrorism in the Sahel, in the north and Horn of Africa, in West Africa, no part of Africa can be safe. And I think that was the most important lesson that I learned here, that we need, a global approach to fight terrorism, both at continental level and at the global level.
During the summit, Alhaji Lai Mohammed represented President Muhammadu Buhari at a high-level discussion on culture and heritage, presided by the President of Mali, Ibrahim Keita.
Yeah, because the most important takeaway for me in that summit was, that high-level, session, was that heritage and culture, it's not just about history, identity, or entertainment, but it also should be seen as an economy. And this is why I'm glad that in Nigeria, we look at the creative industry as a whole, that is music, film, theater arts, photography, fashion, and as one. And it is the fastest growing sector of our economy. And the fact that the AU can devote a whole session, to discuss, culture and heritage and creative industry, I think is very important for me. It also formed the opportunity to showcase what Nigeria has been doing in that, in the area of industry, and the fact that we are the leaders in Africa in movies, we are the leader in Africa in music, we are the leader in Africa in fashion. And then, of course, the challenges were discussed, and then we also put across, what the future, is going to look like.
Now, following Sunday night attack on commuters in Auno village, a theatre commander, Operation Lafia Dole, Major General Olusegun Adeniyi, says stringent counterinsurgency measures is now in place along Maiduguri-Damaturu Highway. This is to safeguard lives and property by conducting a 24-hour daily intensive counter-operations. Maimuna Garba reports.
While expressing dismay over the unfortunate incident in Auno, Theatre Commander Operation Lafia Dole, Major General Olusegun Adeniyi said 10 persons lost their lives and several vehicles were burned.
We are going to do more than we are doing to ensure incidences like this become a thing of the past. I'm calling on all stakeholders to help us make road Maiduguri-Damaturu safe.
The theatre commander said during daytime, troops secured the highway, ensuring commuters move freely since the last attack, while in the night they go after the insurgents with full understanding that the road is closed and no vehicles plying the road.
If you know that this road closes by 4 o'clock, why are you entering it from either Maiduguri or Damaturu side by 3 o'clock. This is dangerous.
Meanwhile, Theatre Commander Operation Lafia Dole has handed over 3 students to their families after they were rescued by troops of the command from the terrorists. According to General Adeni, the rescued students, 2 girls and a boy, were abducted along Maiduguri-Gubio Road and rescued as a result of hot pursuit of the insurgent with the help of locals who provided intelligence. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
You're watching NTA News at 9. It's time for us to go for a break. When we return, more reports. Welcome back. Naturally endowed with mineral and agricultural resources, Ekiti State agrarian status is about to change. Correspondent Najatu Tijani reports that this is as a result of a strategic partnership between the state government and the Nigerian Air Force.
Like two peas in a pod, Ekiti State and the Nigerian Air Force are seeking to expand opportunities in agriculture, medicine and security through enhanced air defense.
We believe that this industry, the aviation industry, is an economic generator itself, which will equate to job creation, solid source of income for us. And a proposed land covering area of about 40,000 acres of land, producing within the next 1 year about 10,000 liters a day of milk, which will need to be transported regularly.
Side by side to ensure that we support this strategic initiative of building an agro-allied international airport that will not only support our air operations but will also add value to the security or to the efforts of making Ekiti a secure environment.
NAV notes that the state's landscape makes it perfect for such a cargo project, which has the potential to make it one of the largest agribusiness hubs in Africa. Other proposed projects include the establishment of a regiment training unit and other security interventions in the state. Najatu Tijani, NTA News.
The process of reintegrating internally displaced persons in the northeast is progressing as the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development partners Bauchi State Government to ensure social and psychological recovery of the displaced persons. Ruth Agwele has details.
Whom much is given, much is expected, as the ministry tasked with the responsibility of addressing humanitarian challenges across the country. Its doors will always be open to those who are victims of humanitarian crisis to bring succor to communities and meet the needs of the most vulnerable in the country. This visit to the ministry by the Bauchi State Governor Bala Abdulkadir Mohammed is to solidify commitment to rebuild the state through partnership, restore hope to the people for sustainable peace and progress.
Our own approach to accommodating people coming from elsewhere is that of integration. We have fully integrated them. They are with us. They have formed clusters and villages. Some are living within us. The only problem and challenges we have is that of overstretched infrastructure and services.
For the ministry, reaching out to communities affected by insurgency will be sustained through empowerment under the federal government social investment program.
Our area of focus in the ministry, as I always say, is going to be on early recovery. And this means reconstruction, rehabilitation, and reintegration of this displaced population. And we are going to take this development to them.
As both parties look forward to a better working relationship, the outcome hopefully will create peaceful communities where livelihood is sustained. In Abuja, Ruth Agwele, NTA News.
Let's now turn to the legislature, where the House of Representatives has solicited the cooperation of the U.S. government towards a review of the recent visa restriction order on Nigerians. This was when the Speaker, Femi Wajabiamia, received the U.S. Ambassador to Nigeria, Mary Beth Leonard. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
Nigeria and the United States of America, Femi Gbajabiamila says, have a long-standing cordial relationship, noting that the recent visa restriction needs to be figured out.
And if there are ways we can sit down and figure out what the issues are and how we can fast-track resolution of those issues, so that this will disappear or go away as fast as it came, we'll appreciate it.
The U.S. ambassador said the restriction order is not permanent, as it will hopefully be resolved soon.
We have a wonderful relationship with Nigeria. We were joking about the fact that Nigerians and Americans sort of have a lot in common. You know, we're both sort of aggressively entrepreneurial and outgoing and very industrious. It is not a visa ban. It is a question of improving some information sharing practices between the government of Nigeria and the United States. And so it was announced as what has always been intended as a very temporary measure, the suspension of immigrant visas while we resolve some of those technical issues. We're working very hard with the government of Nigeria. There's been a committee formed. We've already been having more meetings about how to meet these very specific technical things, which we hope we can resolve within a couple of months, so that decision can be reviewed.
The visit was an opportunity for the Speaker to stress the importance of bilateral cooperation between the two countries, especially pertaining arms purchase to combat insecurity in Nigeria. In another development, the Speaker on Tuesday inaugurated the committee saddled with the responsibility of hosting the 51st Commonwealth Parliamentary Association African Region Conference built for Nigeria in July 2020. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
And to power generation, where 1,350 megawatts of electricity is expected at the national grid, courtesy of the United States government. Mia Ogidi reports that this was revealed on the sidelines of the ongoing Nigeria International Petroleum Summit in Abuja.
Day 2 of the Nigeria International Petroleum Summit, and it's a sunrise for the Nigeria power sector. 1,350 megawatts of electricity at the threshold. More than $1 million offering coming from the U.S. Department of Trade and Development to build gas-fired plant in the Federal Capital Territory. With an estimated 202 trillion cubic feet of proven gas reserves and large quantity fled to the skies on daily basis, the federal government declares 2020 as a year of gas. So, U.S. and Nigeria putting pen to paper in taking advantage of this declaration for the greater good of all.
Once built, the Abuja power plant will be yet another example of how the United States and Nigeria are working to develop durable solutions that meet the needs of the people of Nigeria, create jobs, and foster increased bilateral trade and investment.
Well, we are very grateful for the United States government to come in to help us. What this is going to do to us is to de-risk the Abuja power plant. Every one of you here, including the local oil companies, that it is a tax we must do. Don't focus on the profits. That you must create prosperity here so that we can create peace here so that all of us can live in peace.
That was on the sidelines. So, now the main event of the day, the technical session, primarily focusing on proper and prudent management of African resources for the development of the continent.
We need to start building outwards industrial cities that utilize these energy resources to deliver the required growth of the African economy.
The journey Africa must take, that is energy transition in view of global energy dynamics, was absolutely a delight of the panelists. Mia Ogede, NTA News.
To other matters, the federal government has promised that the second Niger Bridge will be ready for use by February 2022. This assurance came when the Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, inspected the level of work on the bridge. Joey Ilebu was there.
A strategic project of the federal government in the southeast, the second Niger Bridge is an 11.9-kilometer project consisting 1.6-kilometer bridge and 10.3-kilometer road from Onitsha to Asaba end. The bridge, which is designed in line with applicable standards, is currently at 33% completion, with the contractor presently filling the 7-kilometer access road from the bridge to Asaba. The Minister of Work and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, says he is satisfied satisfied with the level at which the project is moving on. It is expected to be completed in February 2022.
Project is on schedule. You are also mindful of the efforts by the President to recover monies that were stolen out of the country, and this is one of the projects to which the benefits of that money will be put.
Inspecting the progress of work on the Anambra section of the Enugu-Onitsha Expressway, the minister frowned at the slow pace of work.
My desire was for more men and more work to speed it up, because the roads that we have targeted during this phase of inspection is not just to see what is progressing, it's also to see where there are challenges.
Other projects also visited were the Federal Secretariat project in Oka and Federal Housing in Isiago. In Oka, Joy Iluebu, NTA News.
In health, Kano State government is initiating additional measures towards improving healthcare services at the grassroots. Now, to achieve this, critical stakeholders came together at a one-day primary healthcare summit to assess primary healthcare and deliberate on options for improvement. Abdullahi Mustafa has the report.
Improving maternal and child health has been a critical component of the Kano State government's healthcare services in the last 4 years. During the period, several health facilities have been upgraded and equipped, while primary health care centers have been established across the 484 wards of the state. These and other interventions are aimed at bringing the services to the doorsteps and minimizing the stress on secondary and tertiary health facilities across the state. The 2020 Primary Health Care Summit, therefore, is a platform to x-ray the journey so far and chart a way forward.
We have finalized the repositioning of primary health care programs under the State Ministry of Health to the State Primary Health Care Management Board. His Excellency, the Governor, is taking Kano State to be a lead performer in the healthcare arena.
Representatives of development partners also reaffirmed their resolve to provide more support in terms of services and funding with a view to bringing the primary healthcare services under one roof. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
We now go to the judiciary, where the Supreme Court has dismissed an appeal filed by Heineken Lotwabiri of the All Progressives Congress, challenging the emergence of David Leon as the party's candidate in the Bayelsa State governorship election conducted last year. The five-man panel of justices, led by Justice Mary Peter Odili, unanimously dismissed the appeal seeking to declare Lotwabiri as the winner of the party's primary that took place in September last year for lack of merit. Delivering the judgment of the Apex Court, Justice Iyango Okoro affirmed the judgment of the Court of Appeal, Port Harcourt Division, that Lotwabiri's suit challenging the victory of Leon was filed out of time at the Federal High Court, Yenagoa Division, and remained statute bar. Now, today is United Nations Day of Women and Girls in Science, a day set aside to deliberate on the various ways society can work at providing equal opportunities for men and women to pursue careers in science and technology. Calvin Ebonea inquires to know what a gap is like for females in and aspiring for careers in the sciences in Nigeria.
Oluwatosin Atere Adeniyi wanted to be a lawyer. Her encounter with a female engineer changed her perception. She embraced computer science instead, and today she's enjoying her career as an ICT staff with the Nigerian Television Authority.
People believe it's a man's world, IT, engineering, but then seeing yourself being able to juggle around doing the work, even at odd hours with family, and then you're fulfilled with the passion that you have with it, yes, I think it's something I'm really happy about.
But Blessing and Sonia have a clear idea of what they want to be in future. A medical doctor and engineer. They lead a female science club at the Government Science and Technical College, Garki, Abuja.
Anytime I go to the hospital like this now, I used to see
mostly they are male doctors that used to treat patients and other people. So I choose to just be a medical doctor.
Like in our class now, you're only 3 out of like 30 something boys, so I don't feel intimidated, I don't feel shy.
With a ratio of around 1 girl to 3 boys in most science schools, the gap is gradually closing.
We have a large number of girls that are doing very well, both in science and even the technical subjects.
Every year, we will select girls from all the schools that we have, and then there is a competition between the schools and the girls, one scholarship to encourage them to study sciences.
The theme for this year's Day for Women and Girls in Science is Investment in Women and Girls in Science for Inclusive Green Growth. In Abuja, Kelvin Ewonwaye, NTA News.
In other news, the Ebonyi State government has expressed appreciation to Nigerian Television Authority for consistently projecting the state accurately before Nigerians. Commissioner for Information and State Orientation Oje Uchenna Oje, who conveyed the message, was received by the Director General, NTA. Ranami Egirani has the report.
Uchenna Oje's visit is intended to enhance the relationship between the NTA and Ebonyi State. NTA's efforts in disseminating accurate information on the state to Nigerians is another major reason for the visit.
And so I'm here at his instance to greet you, to thank you for all that you have done to the people of Ebonyi State, especially in ensuring that our modest achievements have been projected to the world. We want to tell you that we are not going to take it for granted. Your NTA in Abakaliki will do everything possible to see how we can further synergize with them.
Director General of the NTA, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, who had fond memories of Ebonyi State, congratulated this current administration for the giant strides taken, adding that the character of the country will change for the better if every state emulates the Ebonyi example.
I would like to assure His Excellency through you that we in NTA will always be partners in progress with any institution, any state government, that seeks to carry this country to the next level. If every state is carried to the next level, the country is in turn carried to the next level. And what you are doing in Ebonyi State is practicalizing, taking to the next level.
NTA Director General Yakubu Ibn Mohammed's promise to give more support to the states is expected to further strengthen this budding relationship. In Abuja, Ranami Agirani, NTA News.
Jennifer in Lagos has the next story.
Thank you, Kene, and welcome to Lagos. The vehicular traffic in Lagos has given rise to complaints from various quarters. Not unmindful of this, the Lagos State government, in collaboration with relevant agencies, are working assiduously to make for easy flow of traffic in the mega city. Annie Daniels reports that matching words with action, motorists and other road users will soon breathe a sigh of relief.
Recently, traffic situation in Lagos has gone overboard, is stating the obvious. A cross-section of Lagosians attributes these developments to the ban of commercial motorcycles and tricycles in some parts of the metropolis.
A reaction to an immediate change can always be like that. So whatever present gain or need of reaction will change sooner or later. If or when the government rolls out all these palliatives in terms of like increased buses on the road, improvement on the water transportation system that we have, and stuff like that, improvement on the road construction, bridges, BRT corridors coming into the scene.
This has also given rise to complaints by commuters and other road users. The state government, in its desire to cushion the effects of the ban, made available some commercial buses.
We are coming up with a smaller version of a bus to now apply the inner routes. It's meant for inner routes. Because what we are planning is to reduce the number of private vehicles on the road and come out with mass transit. Mass transit can be of high capacity, can be of medium capacity.
Collaboration with security and traffic agencies is also in place.
Recently, Lagos State went ahead to recruit about 1,017 cadets into LASMA. With that number, it is expected that with the synergy that FRSC has with LASMA, there will be a great lot of improvement.
And for those who are wondering when the traffic situation in Lagos will come to an end, hear this.
Government is looking at how to reduce travel time. Travel time maybe from 1 hour to 30 minutes, maybe from 30 minutes again to about 25 minutes. That's what government is looking at, depending on the mileage you are covering or the distance you are covering.
All these, they say, will be achieved when motorists and other road users act in accordance with laid down rules and regulations. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
Thank you, Annie. Now that update on restriction of motorcycle and tricycle in Lagos is all from Lagos. We'll pause now for a break. News continues shortly with Kene in Abuja. Stay with us.
Welcome back. Up next, details on latest developments on forex restriction. That will be in the business news with Amina Nigerian. Good evening.
Good evening, Kenneth. On business news today, the Central Bank of Nigeria has engaged with some companies in the dairy industry as part of efforts to increase local milk production, its derivatives and dairy products. This was contained in a circular to all forex dealers by Director Trade and Exchange Department of the Apex Bank. The circular added that all Form M for importation of milk and its derivatives should be cancelled immediately. The 6 companies are said to have complied with the backward integration program to boost local production and consumption. And from the Nigerian equities market comes the good news of the reversal of the negative trend that opened the week. Tuesday saw the all-share index advancing 0.36% to close the trading session below the 28,000 basis point. Investors gained 51.93 billion naira amid negative market breadth. 276 million shares were traded in 3,690 deals. This was valued at 3.706 billion naira, while the year-to-date return stands at plus 3.84%. The top trades were led by the financial institutions of UBA 49 million shares, Guarantee Trust Bank 41 million, as well as Zenith Bank. The gainers chart had MTN Nigeria appreciating by 4.35% to gain 120 naira. The decliners chart was led by MRS Nigeria PLC, International Breweries PLC, and Bao Cement PLC. Meanwhile, the IMF Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva has urged low-income countries to take a hard look at how they are approaching their debt strategy. She was speaking at a joint event hosted by the World Bank looking at global debt in Washington, D.C. She advised developing countries to focus on using money prudent with an eye on the long term as investors globally are increasingly chasing riskier yields in lending. We now hand over to Kemi in Ibadan for more reports. Kemi, hello.
And a warm welcome to Ibadan. The federal government has reiterated its commitment to revamp the country's economy to make it compete favorably with other economies of the world. The Minister of State for Budget and National Planning, Prince Clement Agba, said these while on a working visit to Ibadan. Correspondent Shola Wahid has the report.
Formulation and implementation of right policies to drive the country forward socially and economically remains the major responsibilities of researchers and government. The minister, while inspecting the facilities on ground, noted that the institution has endowed personnel and expressed government's readiness to tap from the resources of researchers towards building an economically viable country.
It is important, strategic to our economy, and you have a lot of role to play, especially in our planning process.
So if the country is going to compete, we have to understand that the first competition takes place in the mind, it's in the head, it's in education, it's in research, and so on. And we need to allocate appropriate resources to this line of activity.
The Nigerian Institute of Social and Economic Research, NISA, is mandated to provide consultancy services to the federal and state government and conduct research into economic and social problems of the country. In Ibadan, Shola Wahid, NTA News.
And towards improving the education sector, Oyo State government is set to recruit competent teachers into teaching profession. Correspondent Shola Wahid again has the report.
In recent times, the performance of Oyo State students in the West African Examination Council (WAEC) has not been encouraging, hence the need for the state government to take proactive measures towards making the state compete with other states of the Federation by recruiting 10,000 teachers.
We were told we had to pay 1,000 naira, but later this morning we heard the news that there is no more payment.
They just asked us to queue here, so maybe they will bring the form to us, so they will share it.
My experience as I arrived into Secretariat has not been encouraging. It's been so tiring and stressful.
It's somewhat serious, but at least they are well organized.
Before you can be a teacher in Oyo State, you either hold NCE certificate, which is the minimum, or university graduate. If you have education certificate, it will give you added advantage.
Collection of forms are available across Oyo State for the period of 2 weeks. In Ibadan, Shola Wahid, NTA News.
And that's it from Ibadan. The network news continues in Abuja.
NTA StarTimes is developing a robust platform in collaboration with the organized private sector to support federal government's desire to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports that the initiative is gradually being strengthened with conversation from Dangote groups of company.
The synergy is pooling stakeholders' resources in the information sector to create wealth and generate employment. The choice of Dangote groups of company as pioneering vehicle for driving the vision through StarTimes TV reality show is informed by its position as the second largest provider of labor. StarTimes, Dangote groups of company and other stakeholders are targeting mass participation of Nigerian youth in the agriculture sector to remove them off the streets.
NTA StarTimes Niger Farmer reality TV show is going to be working with the Dangote Group to deliver the much needed employment for Nigerian people and lifting of 100 million Nigerians out of poverty.
We are very glad that the media, particularly led by the NTA, are bringing their particular skills, especially through the use of this reality TV shows to attract the perspective and the minds of young people.
No, specifically the reality TV show is all about, initially we talk about project, which is farming. You know, in farming we have mechanized farming and we have our local farming. So all these two, aspects are going to be considered.
Conversations for designing frameworks in actualizing the social empowerment scheme has begun and will continue with engagement of critical partners to actualize government agenda of moving 100 million people out of poverty. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
Vice President Oshimbajo joins other world leaders to bid Kenya's Arab Moi farewell. Details when we return.
The 17 Sustainable Development Goals come together in cities. This challenge is very clear. If we do not make a difference in urban environments, we will not achieve the change we need.
The UN Deputy Secretary General, Amina Mohammed, is our guest tonight.